My father was the founder of Medicare Pharma, one of Chicago's most successful pharmaceutical companies. Until last year, that is. 3 months ago, my father passed away from a heart attack. He was 68. Too young to die. I heard he collapsed at the company office in the Willis Tower in Chicago's Loop District. It was a fitting end for a man who lived and breathed his work until the very end. But I couldn't be there to witness his final moments. Even though I wanted to rush to his side, Mother kept me away, saying, "It's too late." Mother's phone call was brief. "Thomas is dead. The funeral is on Sunday." That was all. Her voice was as matter-of-fact as if she were announcing a package delivery. Only after Father died did I realize just how lonely he must have been in this family. I work as a senior accountant at a major accounting firm in Chicago. My annual salary is $80,000. I live alone in a modest apartment in the River North District. While I'm not wealthy, I take pride in the life I've built for myself. Putting on my Brooks Brothers suit and heading to the Prudential Plaza on Michigan Avenue every morning, this was the path I chose. Or perhaps, the path I was forced to choose. Father was a gentle and honest man. At least, that's how he appeared to me. But there was always some distance between us. My childhood memories of him are fragmentary, like a puzzle with missing pieces. At Christmas dinner, he would always have paperwork spread out before him. Even at my high school graduation, he was constantly on the phone. Looking back now, perhaps there were reasons for all of this. My mother Carol, on the other hand, was different. Reigning as a society queen in the affluent Winnetka district of Chicago's North Shore, she had once served as the company's financial director. Her calculating nature and obsession with appearances had confused me since childhood. Shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue, discussing art as a member of the Art Institute of Chicago, attending concerts as a patron of the Chicago Symphony, every activity was just another stage for her to display her status. And then there's my sister Jessica. 3 years younger than me, she now has twins and has built what Mother considers the perfect family with her husband, an IT company executive. She too had been involved with the company at one point as an accounting assistant. My sister, who can't resist shopping at Neiman Marcus, seemed to have inherited Mother's values completely. I don't understand. Why was I the only one who took a different path, when everyone else in the family was involved with the company? When I majored in accounting in college, Mother said, "It's not suited for you." When I expressed interest in joining the company, she pushed me away, saying, "Get experience elsewhere first." And now, I've been tasked with sorting through Father's belongings. Here I am, day after day, facing dusty cardboard boxes in the vast study of our family home. Who would have thought this would be my final time with Father? I took time off work to take on this task. Mother said we could just hire someone, but I insisted on doing it myself. I felt like I was searching for some kind of dialogue with Father. Early autumn in Chicago. Cold winds from Lake Michigan rustled the street trees, which were beginning to change color. The bells of Fourth Presbyterian Church rang in the distance, announcing Sunday service. We used to attend that church as a family. Now, I hear Mother and sister only go there for socializing. This morning too, I climbed the stairs to Father's study. I open the heavy mahogany door and walk between bookshelves that reach the ceiling. Through the window, I can see the meticulously maintained garden. It's been a month since our last family dinner at Gibson's Bar and Steakhouse. Father seemed like he wanted to say something then, but kept getting interrupted by Mother's constant chatter. Will I find something new today? Deep down, I already had a premonition. Dust from the cardboard boxes sparkles in the morning sun. Father's study is wrapped in its usual silence. The massive mahogany desk, like a symbol of Father's presence itself, sits at the center of the room. Box number 10 already. I sigh deeply as I open a new box. It's labeled Important Documents 2014 to 2024 in Father's meticulous handwriting. At that moment, something trembled in my chest. The morning sun slowly illuminates the room through gaps between the ceiling-high bookshelves. Outside the window, the roses lovingly tended by John the gardener still wear their morning dew. I heard Father made it his daily routine to gaze at the garden from this window every morning. Inside the box, I find neatly organized stacks of bank records. A blue file is labeled Family-Related Expenses. My hand stops at the first page I casually open. Family vacation expenses $15,000. I flip through the pages in disbelief. There are records of astronomical support payments to my sister's family. Private school tuition $50,000. New car purchase $80,000. Mortgage assistance $10,000. With each trembling turn of a page, new records jump out at me. Hawaii vacation $20,000. Christmas bonus $30,000. New house down payment $100,000. I feel dizzy looking at the rows of numbers. This wasn't just an expense record, it was a family history I knew nothing about. And throughout this history, my name never appeared once. Why? My voice catches. My throat is dry. Birds are singing outside the window. Looking at Father's desk, I see his Parker fountain pen still sitting there. Did he use that pen to write all these records? Suddenly, I hear a door opening downstairs. Then, the sound of Mother's high heels striking the marble floor. Regular footsteps approaching. Amy? Are you still cleaning up? At Mother's voice, I instinctively clutch the file. My hands won't stop shaking. Mom, this is... Words fail me. Mother enters the study and quickly surveys the room. Dressed in her Chanel suit, she's armed with perfect makeup as always. What are you looking at? There's a slight tension in her voice. I hold up the file with trembling hands. What is this about? Mother's expression changes instantly. Oh, you found that? There's no tension in her voice anymore. Instead, there's almost an element of amusement. Why just me? Found out, did you? Well, you're not a real family anyway. Those words were colder than I expected. Mother continued in a casual tone, as if ordering coffee. I was against it from the start when Thomas brought you home. But he wouldn't listen, rambling on about how this child has potential. Look how well that turned out. Your potential only drove you away from the company. My mind goes blank. There's a ringing in my ears. The family photo on Father's desk suddenly looks distorted. It's a lie, right? It's the truth. When you were 3, Thomas brought you from an orphanage. I opposed it from the beginning. After all, bringing a strange child into the family was too big a risk, don't you think? Mother sat elegantly on the sofa and continued as if telling an old story. But your integrity actually worked in our favor. Having you helped maintain appearances. The image of a good family taking in a troubled child was very well received in social circles. Words catch in my throat. My feet feel unsteady. The view outside the window starts to blur. What about Jessica? Jessica is my daughter. My real one. So naturally, she should inherit the family assets, right? At that moment, something snapped inside me. Still clutching the file, I ran from the room. My feet stumbled several times as I raced down the stairs. By the time I reached the entrance, tears had distorted my vision. When I opened the door, the cold autumn wind struck my cheeks. Amy. Leave those documents here. Mother's voice echoes behind me. I pretend not to hear and jump into my car. My hands shake as I start the engine. The mansion in my rearview mirror grows smaller and smaller. The light rain hitting the windshield mingles with my tears. Chicago's cityscape is blurred and gray. In the car, with only the engine sound resonating, I remembered Father's words. Amy, you have potential. Were those words true? Or was that a lie too? Countless memories spin in my head. Christmas dinner. High school graduation. Family vacations. All those memories now appear in completely different colors. Who am I? And what was Father really thinking? As I drive without a destination in mind, my thoughts continue to race. A week has passed. Chicago is fully dressed in autumn colors now, and the wind from Lake Michigan has grown noticeably colder. It's my final day of leave. The cityscape visible from my apartment window is shrouded in morning mist. My smartphone still shows over 100 missed calls from Mother. As I stare at the call history, last night's voicemail keeps repeating in my head. Mother's voice had grown increasingly desperate with each passing day. But my mind was already made up. When I stepped into Father's study again, the morning sun had just begun to illuminate the room. The study, untouched since I ran out a week ago, was wrapped in silence. I have to finish this. This final duty to Father was also an obligation to myself. The right to know the truth, surely even an adopted child deserves that. I sit down at the mahogany desk. The bank records I found a week ago are safely stored in my apartment's safe. I open the desk drawers, checking their contents one by one. Bills, receipts, notebooks, everything perfectly organized. Just like Father. Suddenly, I notice something odd about the back of the desk. There's a slight unevenness in the backboard. When I check with my fingertips, there's definitely an unnatural bump. My heart races as I scan the desk and spot a small toolbox in the corner. I take out a screwdriver and nervously approach the screws on the backboard. The screws come out surprisingly easily, as if they were waiting for someone to remove them. When the backboard comes off, there's a hidden space behind it. Inside is a thick envelope. It's from Brown & Associates law firm. Next to it, in Father's handwriting, are the words to Amy. My hands shake as I break the seal. Inside are multiple documents. On top, along with a USB drive, is a letter from Father. I sit in the armchair by the window and take a deep breath. This was Father's favorite spot. I open the letter. To my beloved daughter Amy. I am truly sorry for causing you so much pain over the years due to my inadequacy. As a father who couldn't protect you, this guilt will never leave me until I die. 20 years ago, there was accounting fraud at my company. It was your mother Carol, then the financial director, who accidentally discovered it. She and your sister Jessica began using this fact to blackmail me. To prevent the company from losing credibility, and more importantly, to keep you from getting involved, I continued to give in to their demands. While appearing to favor your sister's family on the surface, I've been secretly gathering evidence and preparing to secure your future. This is the best atonement I could manage. The documents in this envelope contain all the evidence of Carol and Jessica's fraud. The USB drive contains 20 years of transaction data. I've already informed my close friend, Attorney John Brown, of the details. He will be on your side. And there's something I most wanted to tell you. Yes, you are indeed a child I brought home from an orphanage. But it was fate. When I first met you, I saw myself in your eyes. The same loneliness, the same integrity, and the same strength. Carol strongly opposed it. But I knew instinctively. You would surely be able to change this family. However, my cowardice got in the way. If I exposed the fraud, the company would collapse, and hundreds of employees would be left stranded. Yet if I left things as they were, the corruption would only spread. Caught between these choices, I made the worst decision, to maintain silence and keep you at a distance. Please forgive me. And from now on, please live with your head held high. The painful memories, the suffering, it's all my responsibility. But your life is just beginning. You have a strength that no one can take away. Finally, the words I most wanted to say. Amy, you are my pride. With love. Father. I can't stop crying. Outside the window, birds are singing their morning song. The roses father loved sparkle in the morning sun. The envelope contained even more shocking evidence. Records of company fund embezzlement by mother and sister. Copies of threatening emails. Transaction details of secret accounts. Everything was perfectly organized and arranged chronologically. At that moment, my phone rang. It's an unknown number. I nervously answer. Is this Amy Bryant? This is John Brown. A low, calm voice resonates. Your father told me everything. Could we meet in person at my office on the 45th floor of the John Hancock Center? As the sun rises, the study grows brighter. Father's photograph seems to smile down at me watchfully. This is Father's will. And the beginning of a new life. I stand up with determination. The morning sun on my shoulders feels warm, like Father's hand. Chicago was about to greet a new day. Skyscrapers tower through the morning mist. My car glides toward one of them, the John Hancock Center. The mansion reflected in my rearview mirror gleams in the morning sun. There's no turning back now. I can only move forward. That's what Father wanted. In the car heading to the law office, memories of the few moments with Father flash through my mind like a slideshow. On my high school graduation day, he was indeed constantly on the phone. But afterward, when we were alone, he softly said congratulations. I still remember the warmth in his eyes at that moment. Everything was for this day. Father had been quietly fighting for 20 years. The John Hancock Center appears before me, gleaming in the morning sun. 3 days have passed since my meeting with Attorney Brown. Dusk casts shadows through the window of my River North apartment. Mother's calls never cease. Amy, answer the phone right now. You know the company is in danger, don't you? Do you realize your selfishness will leave employees' families homeless? Do you think I'll forgive such treatment? The voicemails grow more threatening by the day. Meanwhile, I've been carefully reviewing the evidence Father left behind with Attorney Brown. At the law office on the 45th floor of the John Hancock Center, overlooking Chicago, the attorney spoke quietly. Thomas had been preparing for this day for 20 years. Every day, he gathered evidence bit by bit, kept records, and organized everything. But until the end, he didn't want to cause you any pain. That's why he chose this timing. Father's meticulous preparation was both an act of love and atonement. At 8 p.m., the doorbell rings. I catch my breath as I see the visitors through the peephole. Mother Carol and Sister Jessica. Their expressions show anxiety I've never seen before. Before opening the door, I start my phone's voice recorder. This too is according to the plan discussed with Attorney Brown. Come in. As I show them to the living room, Mother immediately begins. Stop this foolishness. Destroy your father's records now. Why? They're company accounting records. Leave company matters to us. No, Mom. I mean the fraudulent accounting. At those words, Mother's expression freezes. Sister Jessica can't hide her panic. What are you talking about? This is. I know everything. Father left all the records. I slowly take out the USB drive. The color drains from Mother's face. 20 years of evidence. Copies of threatening emails, secret account transaction records, everything is here. Don't be ridiculous. Jessica suddenly shouts. You're just an adopted child. What right do you have? Jessica. Mother tries to stop her, but it's too late. Yes, I am adopted. But Father chose me. And he endured for 20 years to protect this company. I stand up and walk to the window. The night view is beautiful. Mom, do you remember when I said I wanted to join the company? You told me to gain experience elsewhere. You were actually afraid I'd discover the fraud, weren't you? Be quiet. Mother shouts. What do you know? To protect the company's credibility, social status, everything we. Stop lying, my voice is calm. All you wanted to protect was your luxurious lifestyle. That's completely different from how Father tried to protect the company. So what are you planning to do? My sister snaps. Are you going to expose everything? The company will collapse if you do. No. Steam rises from the tea I've prepared in the kitchen. The scent of cinnamon fills the room. I'll protect the company. But in a different way. I pick up the documents on the sofa. This is the proposal for a new management structure. I've already worked out the details with Attorney Brown. You and Mother will resign from all positions. You'll return all misappropriated funds. In exchange, we won't press charges. Nonsense. Mother's voice trembles. This is your last chance. Until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. If you haven't signed by then, everything goes to the police. Father's evidence is perfect, prosecution would be certain. You're serious? Fear creeps into Mother's voice for the first time. Were you serious, Mother? Keeping me at a distance, oppressing me, and now trying to threaten me? Outside the window, an ambulance siren fades into the distance. I wait for the sound to disappear before continuing. You know what Father told me? Until the very end, he said I was his pride. Now it's my turn to become someone Father would be proud of. Mother and sister's faces are illuminated by the electric light. Their expressions are ones I've never seen before. Defeat? Resignation? Or perhaps? Go home and think it over, I say quietly, 9 a.m. tomorrow. This is your last chance. They stand up. Their footsteps creak on the carpet as they head for the door. Oh, by the way, I add as they're about to leave, I recorded our entire conversation tonight. Best not to try anything foolish. The sound of the door closing echoes through the room. I let out a deep sigh and gaze at Father's photograph. In the small frame, he wears his usual gentle smile. Dad, am I doing the right thing? Outside the window, Chicago's night skyline sparkles. The lights of the high-rises look like stars. Within those lights, I sense the promise of a new dawn. My phone rings. It's Attorney Brown. Everything's on track, I report. Yes, we'll have an answer by 9 a.m. tomorrow. After hanging up, I turn back to the night view. Somewhere in this city, mother and sister are facing the biggest decision of their lives. And I too stand at the threshold of a new life. A year has passed. Chicago's autumn once again paints the city in vibrant colors. From the president's office in Willis Tower, I have a perfect view of Millennium Park with its autumn foliage. President Amy, here are the documents for the 10 a.m. board meeting. My secretary Sarah hands me meticulously organized papers. I accept them with a smile. Medicare Pharma has changed dramatically over this past year. We've increased management transparency, strengthened our research and development division, and most importantly, rebuilt trust with our employees. Although the stock price initially fell, it's gradually showing signs of recovery due to expectations for the new management system. Everything changed after that morning. Mother and sister ultimately accepted my proposal. At 9 a.m., they signed the documents in Attorney Brown's office and resigned from all positions. The misappropriated funds are being returned in installments. Mother has now sold the Winnetka mansion and lives alone in a small apartment in Lakeview. Being ostracized from society circles was probably her biggest blow. She lost her Art Institute of Chicago membership and her position as a Chicago Symphony patron. The other day, when we happened to meet at Fourth Presbyterian Church, she looked unrecognizably aged. No more Chanel suits or perfect makeup. She passed by me as just a tired old woman. When our eyes met, she slightly bowed her head. My sister Jessica faced an even harsher reality. Her husband filed for divorce immediately after the fraud was exposed and won custody of their children. She's only allowed to see the twins once a month. Shopping at Neiman Marcus and luxury spa treatments are all things of the past. I hear she now works as a temporary office worker. When I heard this from colleagues who occasionally see her, I was filled with complex emotions. President, your visitor has arrived. Sarah's voice brings me back to reality. The development director from a major pharmaceutical company is shown to the reception room. It's about a joint development project for a new drug. I've heard great things about the new Medicare Pharma, he says with a gentle smile. We have high expectations, especially for your proactive investment in research and development. After the meeting, I stand by the window again. Chicago's cityscape glows in the setting sun. This weekend, I'm moving to a new house. I'm leaving my River North apartment and have purchased a home in the quiet residential area of Winnetka, right near Father's house. I plan to plant roses in the garden, the ones Father loved. John, Father's former gardener, has already promised to take care of them. I've also started participating in church activities on holidays. Through charitable work, I'm building new bonds with the community. I want to carry on Father's values in my own way. The sun will set soon, Sarah quietly announces. Warm light streams into the office at dusk. Yes, indeed. I turn to my desk to review the final documents of the day. That's when I notice Father's fountain pen. I found it that day in the study. Now it sits on my desk as a precious keepsake. After finishing work, I head to the underground parking garage. Chicago's night lights are gradually brightening. A 30-minute drive brings me to my destination, Rose Hill Cemetery. Standing before Father's grave, the evening breeze caresses my cheeks. Dad. As I place flowers, I speak quietly. The company is doing well now. The employees are getting used to the new system. I think I'm managing to protect what you built, in my own way. Ginkgo leaves dance in the wind. But you know, Dad. There's one thing I want to tell you. I take a deep breath and continue. You don't need to apologize anymore. You showed me all the love you could. That love was never wrong. My eyes grow hot. So Dad, please rest easy. I'm living proudly now. As your daughter, with my head held high. Church bells ring across the cemetery at dusk. I quietly close my eyes. In my heart, I see Father's gentle smile. I'll come again. Next time, I'll have even better news to share. As I leave the grave, my heart feels strangely light. In Chicago's night sky, the first stars begin to twinkle.